For generations untold, the Bible has been more than just scripture, it has been a source of faith, enigma, and abiding inspiration. Its reports of miracles, destruction, and ancient travel have ignited imaginations and fueled arguments through centuries. Whereas some have taken these stories on faith alone, others have sought historical evidence to vindicate their validity. Throughout the ages, explorers, archaeologists, and seekers of wonder have excavated physical proof that seems to reverberate these older tales. From sites that are reported to have been reduced to rubble in biblical conflicts to artifacts described in Old Testament terms, discoveries elicit wonder and reflection. In this book, we explore 20 remarkable photographs that capture the Bible's stories, images that encourage believers and non-believers alike to stop, rethink, and see Scripture anew. The Bible is a vast chronicle of events, preserved with incredible detail. Its purpose is not to convince with vague reports, but to place the reader with full immediacy in the moments it portrays. And nothing grounds those reports so firmly as landmarks. One of the most famous biblical landmarks gives us the first entry on our list. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel Spark Science, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 20. The Solemn Western Wall. In the heart of Jerusalem's Old City, the Western Wall stands as a strong testament to both faith and history. The centuries-old limestone wall has stood as a sacred entity, the last remaining piece of the Second Temple, the most sacred place of Jewish veneration in the time of Jesus. Pilgrims come from all over the world to its ancient stones, inserting handwritten petitions between the stones, an act of reverence that ignores the march of time. Contemporary skepticism regarding biblical accounts generally has its roots in the lack of physical evidence. Narratives of temples, exiles, and rituals are often written off as symbolic tradition. But the Western Wall is a quiet refutation of such skepticism. Excavations of the Temple Mount have proven archaeologically that its foundation was constructed during the Herodian period, during the 1st century BCE, very much when both biblical and historical accounts report King Herod enlarging the Second Temple. Roman sources, such as Josephus, attest to the temple's grandeur and its destruction in 70 CE by Titus. Even for non-believers, the wall serves as a powerful reminder that biblical Jerusalem was not legend but a city that existed, attacked and battered by actual events still at the heart of both Jewish and Christian tradition. In a world where Scripture is ignored as fable, these stones challenge us with a living link to the past, tangible proof that history and faith have been bound together long enough. 19. A walk through Bethlehem's ancient streets. Treading the cobblestone streets of Bethlehem is stepping into Scripture itself. Its limestone walls, worn to a silvery patina by centuries of sun and rain, and its arched roads appear frozen in time, carrying its visitors back to the day when Mary and Joseph came into this humble Judean town. For Christians, Bethlehem is sacred ground, holy stage for Christ's birth. Historical and archaeological evidence verifies Bethlehem as a flourishing town in the 1st century CE. The Roman census in Luke's Gospel, previously debunked as being wrong, is consistent with Rome's common practice of registering populations, verified by papyrus records and inscriptions throughout the empire. Archaeologists have uncovered 1st century dwellings, stables cut out of caves, and cisterns consistent with environmental characteristics reported in Scripture. Unlike symbolic imagery, these streets are tangible. They can be touched, walked, and photographed, grounding the biblical account in the physical world. Even though the exact manger site or Magi's path may never be identified, the enduring presence of Bethlehem itself undermines claims that the nativity story emerged from pure imagination. Instead, the city anchors spiritual belief in real-world geography, transforming abstract scripture into an unfolding human narrative. 18. The Arch of Titus. In the very center of Rome stands the Arch of Titus, a commanding monument to Roman victory. But inscribed into its stone is more than conquest, it is a pictorial witness that connects Roman history with biblical occurrences. Commissioned by Emperor Domitian in 81 CE in the honor of his brother Titus, the arch was erected in commemoration of the Roman victory at the Jewish War and the destruction of Jerusalem's Second Temple in 70 CE. Its most renowned relief shows Roman soldiers transporting the temple's holy menorah and riches through the streets of Rome, connecting scripture and Roman historical record visually. Centuries ago, skeptics downplayed biblical descriptions of the temple's splendor and devastating destruction. The Arch of Titus provides first-hand visual evidence in conformity with biblical account, however. Roman historians confirm its scenes, verifying the siege of Jerusalem and pillaging of sacred items. Carved menorah represents biblical descriptions in Exodus, serving as a bridge between Jewish scripture, memory, and Roman history. Its existence affirms that the destruction of the temple was not merely theological but a historical and geopolitical reality, one so significant that the Roman Empire chose to immortalize it in stone. 17. Mount Sinai's Golden Sunrise. Mountains have long been symbols of awe and mystery, and in the Bible, they are crucial. For Christians, few mountains inspire more reverence than Mount Sinai. According to Exodus, it was there that Moses encountered God and received the Ten Commandments, a moment that defined Israel's faith and the moral order of Western civilization. For skeptics, the story is often regarded as myth, its geography unprovable. Scholars debate the mountain's true location, with suggestions ranging from Egypt's Jebel Musa to peaks in Saudi Arabia. Yet satellite imagery, inscriptions, and surveys have revealed ancient pathways, nomadic sites, and altars consistent with the Exodus timeline. Though not conclusive, such evidence lends credibility to Sinai's scriptural role. For the faithful, a sunrise over Sinai becomes a wordless sermon, a testimony that divinely appointed meetings come in desolate, wilderness settings. Pilgrims who ascend its slope before morning find the top moving, overlooking vast desert in solemn stillness. Whether taken as the site of God's voice or as a theater of history, its persistent presence harmonizes faith and fact. Its sunrise outline is a strong reminder that landscapes themselves retain the memory of sacred encounters. 16. Jordan River Baptism Site. The Jordan River flows elegantly through the territory of Israel and Jordan, bearing with it centuries of history and religion. Along its banks there sits a place revered as the very site where John the Baptist baptized Jesus. This one event, found in all four Gospels, is the start of Christ's public ministry and one of the core pillars of Christian sacramental tradition to this very day. Skeptics tend to explain such baptismal stories away as symbolic ceremonies rather than historical events. But the Jordan River is a living reality, its waters streaming through time, inextricably embedded in both biblical imagery and regional history. Archaeological digs on the Jordanian side of Almatas have revealed Byzantine-era churches, baptismal pools, and pilgrim inscriptions dating back to as far as the 4th century CE, when early Christians held the site sacred. Geological research also attests that the course of the river has changed over the centuries, consistent with seasonal flooding patterns, but the overall location aligns very closely with the New Testament accounts. Today, numerous pilgrims bathe in its dirty waters, renewing in the same river that the Bible speaks of. Historians and geographers examine the location as a case study in how holy places survive across cultures and millennia. For doubters, standing on its shore might not be cause for belief, but it undercuts the notion that biblical narratives are completely abstract from bodily existence. Jordan still runs, as it did then, bringing with it the remembrance of a holy moment where ritual and history converged. 15. The elusive tomb of the patriarchs. In Hebron, the Machpelah Cave, more commonly referred to today as the Tomb of the Patriarchs, is one of the longest-lasting bridges between scripture and history. It is there, the book of Genesis says, that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were buried along with Sarah, Rebekah, and Leah. Holy to Jews, Christians, and Muslims, the site is held sacred as a physical connection to the patriarchs whose lives established the foundation of three major world religions. The monumental Herodian building that surrounds the cave is from the 1st century BCE, its style corresponding to other large construction projects of King Herod, such as the Second Temple. Testimony by Josephus and subsequent Islamic chroniclers attests to the site's reverence well before modern times. Archaeological digs in Hebron demonstrate layers of uninterrupted settlement dating thousands of years back, attesting further to the contention that biblical memory here finds root in authentic history. For religious communities, the tomb of the patriarchs is a reminder of promises kept and ancestral tradition. For doubters, it is one of the exceptional instances in which a biblically mentioned place has been identified, preserved, and revered for millennia. Unlike figurative theology, this is a place constructed of stone and mortar, a living witness to Scripture's durability. Nowadays, it is still highly politicized and closely guarded, a reminder that the patriarch's heritage is not only spiritual but territorial as well. To stand before its ancient walls is to sense the Bible's story become kairotic, moving from removed tale to lived experience. 14. A marvel beneath the earth, Hezekiah's tunnel. Under Jerusalem's ancient streets is an engineering marvel, Hezekiah's tunnel, a hand-dug tunnel measuring over 500 meters. Built in the 8th century BCE, it diverted water from the Gihon spring to the pool of Siloam, protecting the city's water source from the Assyrian siege chronicles in 2 Kings 20 and 2 Chronicles 32. For centuries, critics doubted such a bold account, dismissing it as biblical exaggeration. Yet the tunnel remains, carved into bedrock by ancient laborers nearly 3,000 years ago. Its discovery was further validated by the Siloam inscription, unearthed in 1880 within the tunnel itself. Written in ancient Hebrew, the inscription records the dramatic moment when two teams of diggers met in the middle, confirming the biblical narrative with remarkable precision. Recent laser scans and archaeological surveys confirm the tunnel's astonishing precision, proof of coordination and perseverance in a time devoid of sophisticated equipment. To believers, the tunnel is definitive proof that biblical descriptions of walled Jerusalem were based on tangible history. To skeptics, it confirms that ancient texts tended to retain factual details. Hezekiah's tunnel is more than symbolism, it is a traversable remnant of religion, engineering, and existence. 13. The Sea of Galilee boat. In 1986, at a time of drought that dropped the waters of the Sea of Galilee, two fishermen made a remarkable find, the remains of a remarkably preserved 2,000-year-old wooden boat. Approximately 27 feet long and constructed out of a patchwork of various woods, it has come to be referred to as the Jesus boat. Although there is no indication that Jesus himself ever climbed aboard it, the boat itself provides a living connection between Scripture and everyday life in first-century Galilee. Radiocarbon dating and construction analysis securely locate the boat in the era of Christ's ministry, confirming the Gospel's technological and cultural context. Its burial under mud layers was an act of fate, handing down to us a time capsule of Roman Judea. Now it is on display at the Yigal Allon Museum, where tourists can look on at it as a silent witness to the era of the Bible. For believers, the boat evokes the imagination. Maybe Peter and the other fishermen sailed a boat like this one, or maybe this was the type of boat Jesus quieted storms in. For unbelievers, it doesn't call for belief in miracles, but it does call for acknowledgement that the gospel accounts occurred in a tangible world, on a lake where real boats like this one traveled. 12. The Red Sea Crossing. Few events in the Bible are more dramatic than the Exodus, where Moses guided the Israelites through the parted waters of the Red Sea. To many, the tale has long had a mythical ring to it, an allegory with no basis in evidence to add support to its miraculous assertions. However, recent research and compelling underwater findings have renewed debate.